Hey, welcome back to Karen's Papercraft. Thank you very much for watching. Wat leuk dat je weer kijkt. Dankjewel. De kaart van vandaag kun je met heel veel verschillende stempels maken. Ik had gewoon zin in ouderwets gezellig stempelen. Today's card you can make with many different stamps. I just felt like some old-fashioned stamping. And don't you think it's turned out beautiful? Vind je hem niet mooi geworden? Als je wilt weten hoe je makkelijk zo'n strikje kunt maken en vastmaken aan het labeltje, if you would like to find out how you can easily make and attach a bow for this label, come and join me. Blijf dan gezellig kijken. I will show you the card in some detail. Right, I'll show you the supplies that I've used. The shimmer ribbon in gold, het glanzend gouden lint, which is really beautiful. Look at it. It is so shiny and it ties like a dream. It's really soft, beautiful, beautiful ribbon. I've also used the very best trio punch, de drie toppersbons, the champagne rhinestone basic jewels, klassieke strassteentjes met champagne, 2 stamp sets, Christmas season and in Dutch fantastische feestdagen. In English it is called Christmas to Remember, and I've used this one which says Christmas mail, and I've taken the catalogue, and in the English version it's called 'Tis the Season, which would work on this card equally well. So lucky there. Inks, Shaded Spruce, Soft Succulent, Poppy Parade, Soft Suede and Crumb Cake. And I think I have mentioned everything. Yes, I have. So I'll show you the cardstock and the measurements. I have here Poppy Parade, which is 11 inches by 4 1/8, 28 centimeters by 10.5, 28 centimeter by 10.5, and I've already scored this at the halfway mark at 5.5 inches. Ik heb het halverwege gerild op 14 centimeter. I'm going to fold it, and this is then the card base. You need a basic white mat to stamp on, and I'm looking for the measurements here. Your basic white mat is 3 7/8 by 5 1/4, 9.9 by 13.4 centimeters, 9,9 by 13,4 centimeter. So you're going to stamp that and mat it onto the card base. Then you need 2 pieces of cardstock, Poppy Parade and basic white again to make the label, but I'll go into more detail for that later on. And I need a scrap of basic white to stamp the 'Tis the Season or kerstpost on. I'm going to use, and I'll show you on the stamp set, I'm going to use the holly, I'm going to use this sprig and the berries and the little twig, I suppose it's called, and tuckje. The berries are attached to, and for the label I'm going to use the small pine cone. But as I said, I'll continue with the label later on. First I'm going to stamp the holly in Shaded Spruce. Okay, things are happening here. So in the corner and the opposite corner. Then I'll continue with the berries. They're going to be in Soft Suede and Poppy Parade. The stamps are see-through because they're photopolymer, so they're easy to line up, and well, it doesn't really matter if there's a little space in between. While I still have my pad out, I'm going to stamp the sentiment on my scrap of basic white so that it can dry. Meanwhile, I'm going to fussy cut that later. Then I'm going to stamp the sprig, and I'm going to stamp off twice for that, and I'm stamping that in Soft Succulent. If I can find it now, there it is. So you stamp off once, twice, and then you go onto the cardstock. And if you think there is an area where there is still too much white, you can always add some more. You see? I think this looks really gorgeous, don't you? Right, so that is the mat finished. Then I'll continue by showing you how I make the label. And I'll just put this over here with my card base. You see, it goes on like that. Now, for the label, you need a piece of Poppy Parade, which is 2 5/8 by 2 1/8, or 6.7 by 5.4 centimeters, 6,7 by 5,4 centimeter, a piece of basic white, which is 2.5 by 2 inches, 2.5 by 2 inches, to 6.4 by 5.1 centimeters, 6,4 by 5,1 centimeter. And first I'm going to use the punch to make the corners. With this punch there is a trick to it. When you slide your cardstock in, you flip it and then you punch the opposite corner. Then you get corners which look the same. Then I'm going to stamp onto the bottom of the label in crumb cake, and I'm looking for the two stamps. There is one which is the general stamp, and this one adds some detail. Now, the one which is the larger stamp, I'm going to stamp off twice again and stamp, and just add it towards the bottom, and then I'm going to stamp this one on top, full strength. See, it adds some nice colour, and you can use both stamps with just the same colour ink. There's no need to take a separate colour. Right, this is then stamping on the label. I'm going to attach this in a minute, but first I'll show you my trick on how you can easily make and attach the bow. And I've taken a B block for this, and I've measured that you need about 9.5 inches of ribbon. You could use less, but then it will be more difficult to tie the bow, and there is some wastage, but not too much. So put it under your block, then like this, and then you pull the left one over the right and pull tight. Now I'm putting my finger in there, and then see, my finger creates a loop, and then I can push that end. So I pull the left one over the right again, and then I can pull this one through, pull tight, and you have a beautiful ribbon. Now I'm going to trim this, and I'm going to use a cigarette lighter to make sure that the ends don't fray anymore. Now do be careful that you don't set fire to your ribbon. There is gold metallic stuff in it, so it might catch fire. So if you're not careful, so don't do this too long, just barely, and then you can feel that the ends have sort of melted, and then they won't fray anymore. So be careful when you do this, because sometimes there are synthetics in the ribbon. Okay, then you saw me pull it off the block, and then I'm just cutting it halfway through, and this then can go onto the label. So no fiddling with my cardstock. Now this will be a bit too long. I tried it with an A block, but then it wasn't heavy enough. So I'll just trim this little bit and this end too. So I'll put my knot in the middle and this should be long enough. See, there's not much wastage this way. Then I'm going to use a strong adhesive. I'm using Seal Plus now to attach both the ribbon and the label to the card, and I think I went off the rails a bit there, so I can push it back. Okay, so further from the front, I'm trying not to get my fingers too much onto the stickiness. I put my knot in the middle. I'll just fold this down and you can see I'm putting it just below that corner and then press. So that's how you attach it. Same thing here, more or less straight. There you go. That's all. And then you can attach it to the other label that you've made and it's attached. Then all I have to do is fussy cut my sentiment. And a trick for fussy cutting, especially if you have a long way to go, don't look where you are cutting, but look where your scissors have to go to. It's much easier to cut in a straight line then. So look where you want to go to, not where you are. So when I'm here, I'm looking there to end up there. See? Perfectly straight. I'm going to use mini dimensionals to put this together. My tweezers, especially with these tiny ones. They're also very useful to help you position things if you don't want your fingers to be in the way. So here I'm putting it just below that gold ribbon and in the middle, and there we go. And then I'm putting dimensionals on the rest of the label because I do like a card to have some layers. And I'm working up some old I'll make it shorter, why not? As I was saying, I'm working up some old edges of the dimensionals before I start a new sheet. They work equally well. And I'll put in another corner there. That should do it. And these go back in until next time. Just made a mess of things now because I can't see any more which still have dimensionals on. And this one too, yeah, okay, so these ones can go. Then I'm ready to put my card together. That's all there is to it. See if I have my card the right way up. Yes, I do. Ask me how I know. It happened to me before that I stuck things on upside down, which is a look, but you wouldn't be able to send it, would you? Okay, then I can remove the backing here. And I want it to go there, a bit towards the bottom left. And then the champagne rhinestone jewels. I think they go really well with the gold colour of the ribbon. Just 3 down here. And 3 here. I'm using my bone folder to make sure they're attached really well. And that's a pretty card finished. And you can see by stamping your own cardstock you can make multiples of such a card. That's it voor today. Dat is het voor vandaag. Vond je het filmpje leuk? Geef me dan een duimpje, daar groeit mijn kanaal echt van. Heb je een vraag of een opmerking? Ik beantwoord ze graag. Did you like my video? Please like it. It really helps me to grow my channel. If you have a question or a comment, I'll be pleased to answer them. Thank you very much for watching. Dankjewel voor het kijken en see you next time. Bye bye, tot ziens!